morning, Larry. How are you? And hello, Ocala.
Hey, thank you so much. Are you in Poughkeepsie? No, you're not in Poughkeepsie. Where are you?
Yeah. I'm in Poughkeepsie. I live in Poughkeepsie.
Oh, okay.
And, we're having some nice sunny weather as well.
Yeah.
Not beach weather, but it's sunny.
Well, it's kind of always beach weather here, and the beach is a popular place around here.
Well, I wish I was closer to the beach, but I'll have to, what can I say? I'll have to take the sunshine instead.
Well, my partner on the air here is up there somewhere in New Jersey. He's not too far from where you are right now, so.
Well, hopefully she's enjoying herself. You said that she's got a brand new grandchild.
Yeah, she's a grandma for the first time, and I think she's not even thinking about the radio show right now. Just having a good time, seeing a little boy.
Well, she and I have something in common because my son and daughter-in-law are expecting a baby any minute.
Will it be your first grandchild?
It'll be my first grandchild.
Oh, my gosh. You're in this. Yeah, it's exactly what she went through.
We're in the Grandma's Club. It's going to be a little boy, too. So we're hoping that he was supposed to arrive last Friday, so he literally can arrive any minute.
Oh, my gosh. And where do they live?
They live in New York City, which is about an hour and a half from here. So
okay.
That's close. That's close to home.
Yeah, this is she's just on the other side of the Hudson in Jersey. So her son works in the city. My gosh, we got a lot in common already. So tell me about this story. I didn't realize this was a true story.
Yeah, it's a story that still resonates today in Poughkeepsie, and the story is about, when I was in junior high school, I had a teacher. His name was Albert Fentress, and he was our world history teacher, a really popular guy. He was handsome. He would make history, especially for some hormone raging teenagers, really exciting. I mean, if we were studying India, we'd have a big India banquet. If we were studying the United States, he'd come in dressed like Robert E. Lee. The guy was really an engaging teacher. And then fast forward to 1979. I open up the paper one day and I see a headline that says, "Teacher held in teenager shooting death."
Oh, my gosh.
And there's his picture right underneath it, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so in the book, he's Terrence Butterfield?
No, I'm not going to say he's Terrence Butterfield.
Oh, okay.
The actual murder itself inspired the story, but the characters are all fictitious.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the murder itself just was it hit home to me because, first of all, I knew the killer. I mean, how many people can say that they know a killer, right?
Yeah. But
then I know all the attorneys, I know the victim's family, so the story resonated, and I wanted to take and spin it out and make it my story, which is what I did in the Midnight Call.
So now I'm a little bit blurry line here between the truth and the fiction. So let's stick to the fiction.
Exactly.
In the fiction, in the book, because we want to get people to take this book to the beach this weekend, right?
Yes.
So Terrence Butterfield tries to pin the crime on his friend Jesse Martin. Is that right?
Well, what he actually does is he betrays her and tries to use her to get the charges dismissed. Because in the law, and I don't want to...
Okay.
In the law, there's a thing called an attorney-client privilege. And what happens is it's just like when you go into an attorney's office, you can spill the beans, you can tell them anything you want, and it's just between the two of you. So the question in this case is when Jesse rushes in the middle of the night to help Terrence and tells him, "Hey, don't say anything to the police, I'm here for you." Is she there as his friend, because they've been friends for many years? He's been her mentor, her friend, her teacher, or was she there as his attorney? So there's a real gray line as to whether or not she was his attorney, and that's one of the bases of the story.
Really?
What is their relationship between the two characters?
Does he also set her up though to look like she might be the killer?
Well, he doesn't set her up. When she arrives at the crime scene shortly after the crime, because Terrence calls her, he makes that midnight call, says, "Jesse, I think I've killed someone, I need your help." She and her fiancé rush to the house, so all of a sudden the district attorney is saying, well, did she interfere with the prosecution of the crime? What was she doing there? So Jesse gets caught between the prosecution
oh my gosh.
and the defense.
And as an attorney yourself, I mean, this could be bad news for your career, even if everybody realizes you didn't do anything.
That's true, and that's what happens to Jessie. Her life really spirals down the drain once she, acts out of altruism, and once she goes to help her friend, all of a sudden she gets swept up in a murder that she really has nothing to do with.
Wow, that is exciting stuff. And how, does it follow the true story? Be after that? I mean, at that point, did you Did you use your imagination?
Pieces. I used my imagination for all the characters, but the bits and pieces of the law are true. So, for example, there's as I said, there's a request by Terrence to have the charges dismissed. That procedure is very factual. That can happen. The whole attorney-client privilege piece is factual. So what I've done is I've taken these pieces of fact and spun my story around that.
Wow. That's kind of a nerve to do, isn't it? You killed somebody and you want the charges dismissed? Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, it does. And I don't want any spoilers, but in true life, this case, the real case, is a precedent-setting case. Because in New York, it's the first case where an insanity plea is brought up to dismiss murder charges.
Really?
So it's really, I mean, it's really an interesting question. And it keeps rearing its head, Larry, because every 2 years, the real killer can, in true life, Albert Fentress, can petition to be released. So every 2 years, this keeps rising to the surface. So it's something that's kind of woven into the history of our city, and also my friend's history. I mean, we all knew him. We all, everybody in town knew him.
Is he still locked up?
He's still locked up.
Okay. Yep. So tell me, can we veer from the book and talk about the true story for a second? Did the person he killed? I mean, what was the circumstances there? Was it like a love thing or something?
It was totally random, if you can absolutely believe it. The kid that was killed was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was as if a light switch was flipped and the teacher snapped and just happened to, this kid was in his backyard trespassing. I guess there were a bunch of kids out there behind his house making noise, and he seduced the one kid into his house, and then he flipped out, and it was a totally random murder. They didn't know each other. They had no relationship.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that does sound like insanity, but I don't think insanity should be a good excuse to let somebody out. I think if they're insane to the point where they kill somebody, then they should be locked up for being insane enough to kill somebody.
Right. I mean, the law has changed since 1979. In 1979, this was a capital case. So technically, he could have been executed. But the law has changed. They rescinded the capital punishment in New York State. And so you have two different various agencies that could be involved. You could have the court system, which prosecutes somebody like this as a criminal, or you have someone who goes into the mental health area and they get locked up in a psychiatric center. So, it's...
Boy, that is interesting. Are you still practicing?
Crazy system.
Do you still...
Very, very little. I tell people I practice friends and family law. So if, my kid calls and says, hey, Mom, I got a speeding ticket, there I am in court, that kind of thing.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, I often wonder how an attorney, I mean, you've worked all your life, you're a hardworking person, and next thing you know, you're defending somebody who couldn't care less about the law, and and that's your job, is to defend them. I often wondered how that even settles with you.
Well, I used to do some minor criminal work. I did some DWI work and some very minor work. And it's a really tough field because everybody who walks into your office is potentially guilty, right?
Sure.
But then under the law, every person is entitled to a defense. Most of the work that I did, honestly, was civil litigation. I was a divorce attorney. So even in that situation, you're dealing with emotions. You're dealing with serious emotions, and it's a challenging field. As I said, I'm semi-retired. I do more work now in the philanthropic field. I'm involved with certain family foundations, and I do that kind of work because now I've kind of switched my gears to giving back to the community, to a community that really supported myself and my family for many, many years.
I know a lady attorney down in Miami, and she works only with intellectual property issues.
Yes.
And it sounds like you do something similar, right?
Yeah, intellectual property is copyrights, patents, and trademarks, and that's really what I went to school for. So I've done a lot of that work, which is really fun, helping artists like myself get started. It's really exciting work. And now it's much more technical because you have all the computer software and things, and patent work is very, very popular. I don't do that. You have to have a specialty and go to school for that.
So kind of tap into that part of your expertise?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Is if somebody has intellectual property and it's copied and used in China, let's say, is the proper owner able to have any recourse, or do you just have to take it? Do they have the ability to steal our intellectual property without paying anything for it?
That's a good question, because I know that there's an international copyright law, and it's almost like a treaty that everybody signs. I don't know whether China is a signatory to that treaty. It would be very difficult for someone to pursue, because they would have to get not only an attorney here in the United States, they'd have to get an attorney who was licensed over in China.
Yeah.
So you'd be dealing with two different legal systems.
The reason I was
It
asking...
also depends upon the value. If let's say that it's Harry Potter, and Harry Potter is somehow spun off or stolen in China, then it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know a guy who had a piece of artwork. He's an artist. He had a piece of artwork. He found it online on a T-shirt that somebody was selling. And so he went to a lawyer, and the lawyer said, well, send him a cease and desist letter, or we will. And they did for like half a year. And then he found it was on there again. So...
it's very hard when it's overseas. It's really hard.
All right, the book is called, we went on a tangent there, the book is called The Midnight Call.
Midnight Call.
So I have a question for you as the author. Will Jessie Martin be a recurring character? Yes,
she will, because this is part of what I view as the Queen City crime series. And I'm saying that because Poughkeepsie is known as the Queen City of the Hudson, because we're right on the Hudson.
Okay.
And for some reason, there's a strange amount of crimes, bizarre crimes, that have happened in the city of Poughkeepsie. My next book, which I've kind of completed, it's in the first draft stage, is based upon another killer, his name is Kendall Francois. And he was responsible for the mysterious disappearance of 8 women during a 2-year period around 1998 to 2000. And it turns out that he was a serial killer.
Wow.
And he lived like 5 blocks from me. He was one of these, quiet guys that we never suspected. Like the true killer in the Midnight Call. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a nice guy. Nobody suspected.
Yeah.
But in the next book, Jessie will continue to be a recurring character, and she'll join forces with a detective named Ebony Jones, who's also a minor character in the Midnight Call, to find out what's going on with the disappearances of these women.
So when you're writing this kind of a book, see, I'm picturing people taking it to the beach. It's going to be bright and sunny. They're going to have an umbrella over their head. but when it seems like it's dark. The book seems dark. So
no, it's really not.
It's not. Okay.
It's got a romance in it. It's suspenseful.
Okay.
I've been told that it's a page turner. It's hard for me to toot my own horn and say, yeah, it's a page turner. But everybody who's read it said I could not put it down. They just kind of go with it. But it's not dark. It's got moments of light. And as a writer, you have to learn how to balance that, because nobody wants to dive in deep and stay there unless they're really into that dark fiction. I want people to enjoy it. I want them to have fun. I want them to be under that umbrella with a can of soda, with their feet up, and enjoy the book.
So how do you get us as the reader to like somebody that we already know in advance, because we've read we listened to this interview, or we read the little bit on Amazon, so we already know that Terrence is a killer. But at the same time, we're told that he's a really likable guy. How do you get us to like him?
Well, that's the key to the whole story. It's not really a whodunit. Even though in the back of most readers' minds, I'm thinking along the way, they're saying, did he really do it? Did he really do it? Was there somebody else? But the question is, why did he do it? What was his motivation? The way that I've structured the story is it's told from Jessie's point of view. She's a pregnant attorney. Then I have, not Terrence Butterfield. I have Jeremy Kaplan, who is the criminal defense attorney. And then the third point of view is Hal Samuels, who's the district attorney. So you're getting a whole 360-degree view of the crime, because each character is aware of facts that the other doesn't know. So the reader is putting these 3 perspectives together to get the whole view of the story. And the story's really also about the community and how when you have a murder, it's not only about the victim and the perpetrator, it's about how is the community involved. It just kind of ripples out. The school district in this case is involved because the guy was a teacher. You have everyone in the community affected by a crime like this.
Is Jessie Martin a single lady?
No, she's engaged.
Okay, and is that the love story?
Well, I don't want to give away too many spoilers now, do I? Come on, Larry.
Yeah, no, I know you have to be careful when you're talking about a novel, and but I'm asking the questions everybody wants to know. So
right.
Everybody wants to know
you'll see. Jessie's got a lot going on. She's got a couple of guys who are interested in her in the book.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. But she's pregnant. The father of the baby. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Now we have more questions. I'm kind of a chick flick fan. I like that kind of I like a story that has character development, and it sounds like that's what you've done.
Yeah, Jessie grows throughout this process. She starts out, she's a corporate attorney, has no idea about criminal law. And by the end of the story, she's a real expert on the subject.
I bet she is.
In her life, as I said, take ups and downs, and, there's a happy ending.
Is she with a firm, or is she alone?
She is with a firm, and you're making me give all these spoilers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, so I just tell the listeners the book is called The Midnight Call. Give me give me another 4 minutes or so, and I'll give it away. The one that you sent us. Tell me about. Can I ask you about the backstage with the Bard event? What is that?
Yeah. Well, we have one of the oldest operating opera houses, or quote unquote opera theaters, in the United States, and it's called the Bardavon 1869 Opera House. And people like Mark Twain and the Barrymores have been on it. We even had one of Aretha Franklin's last performances here 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, we had John Legend, Tom Jones. We have Gladys Knight. She's going to be doing the gala this year. I mean, you name it. Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, they've all appeared on this stage. So a couple of years ago, I went to the director and made a pitch and said, look, you have all this history. Why don't we start with a podcast and let me, start to interview some of the people who are appearing here. So we've done Mum and Chance. We've done Craig Fleischer, who's the music director and also the conductor for the Hudson Valley Philharmonic. I recently did an interview with Mary Stuart Masterson, the actress, because she was performing with the Philharmonic. I mean, we've got all these great people that we've been able to speak to, and we have this little podcast. We have about 6 episodes we just started, so it's really kind of exciting.
Wow, I love podcasts. I drive a lot, and I love listening to them. So I'm looking for yours because I'm gonna be a fan. I can already tell just from this conversation that I will enjoy your podcast. How long are they typically?
Oh, they're about 30, 40 minutes. I mean, we try to keep it short.
Perfect.
And, like I said, they're available free on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify. And really, it's interesting. I mean, you really get to know, I don't know if you know what Mum and Chance is, but it's people that get in these life-size puppets.
Yes.
Kind of dance around, and it's for adults and kids. But to talk to the woman that came up with this idea 40 years ago, and the fact that she's traveled all over the world with this troupe and entertained millions of people, and for us to be able to sit down and have a conversation with her, it was just really inspiring.
That is cool, yes.
Yeah. And it's nice that there's people are very open. So it's very, very nice. We really enjoyed doing that.
There's a podcast I listened to out of New York, George, gosh, I can't remember his last name, but I just love listening to him, and sounds like you did something similar. Backstage with the Bardavon, right?
Yeah, Backstage with the Bardavon.
There he is. I found you. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I have just subscribed. You have a new subscriber.
Hooray.
All right.
It's kind of interesting, yeah.
You know what? And I think this interview will be on our podcast.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So not only are we doing the live interview, but this would be one of what we call the best of AM Ocala. So that'll be up on probably the same things that you're up on with yours. Well, this is fun stuff. Okay, for the listeners, if you want to call in right now, 622-9622. I'll take one call at random, and I will give you the book. I'll put your name on it. You'll have to come to the studio and pick it up. It's called The Midnight Call. For the rest of us, including myself, I have to go buy it. It's available as a Kindle, by the way, and a paperback. So go to Amazon and get it. Do you have a website set up just for your writing?
Yes, it's JodeSusanMillman.com.
Okay, easy enough. Jode Susan.
Yeah, Jode
Millman.
Susan Millman. It's Jode. A lot of people say, how do you spell Jody? It's Jode. SusanMillman.com. And people can also follow me on Facebook at Jody Millman Author, and also on Instagram.
Excellent.
So I'm out there, and I love to hear from people. I'll be glad to, respond to people. It's great. I mean, I'm excited. The book it's my debut novel. It's going to be out on Tuesday. And I'm so excited to be able to talk to you, Larry, and share it with you and your listeners.
And did I catch it right? Do you consider yourself retired?
Semi-retired, yes.
Doing. I think you're doing more work now than when you worked, right?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Retirement is a misnomer. Absolutely.
Well, it's a good thing to have something. We live in an interesting community here because we have the university, so we got people just starting out in life, and then we have the retirees, and many of them have discovered that retirement just means a new beginning, not an end. So. Absolutely. Yeah. Jode Millman, what a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks for having me, and have a great week, and happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, we will take a little break. We'll be right back. Visit the Appleton Museum of Art for free on Saturday, July 6th from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. All ages are invited to enjoy the special exhibitions, permanent collection, outdoor sculptures, and make art in the art space, all at no charge. The museum's education department will also host an open house so visitors can see the art studios, meet the teachers, and watch art-making demonstrations. Located at 4333 East Silver Springs Boulevard in Ocala. For more information, go to appletonmuseum.org.
An unexpected pregnancy can turn a young woman's life upside down. The House of One in Faith in Ocala gives these young women a place to live in privacy and comfort under the Christian care of counselors who will guide and protect both the woman and her unborn child. The House of One in Faith is confidential, loving, and